Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome back to the Onyx Tavern Vlog series on Russia Sentai ToQger. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, and today we will be covering Station 26, the fight that started in a bathhouse, or as some translations have called it, and I like the spare because of the alliteration, the battle in the bathhouse. Now I'm of two minds on this episode. On the one hand, it is just a filler episode that has no overall connection to the main plot, and on the other hand, it's a filler episode that has no overall connection to the main plot. You know, I really want to know the production history behind this episode because it's just fascinating to me that they felt that this was a story worth telling and worth doing, basically. So what's the overall plot? So the ToQger are, in a town, continuing their quest to find their hometown, or supposedly that's what they're doing, even though they don't actually do that this whole episode. And Akira, we find, is a big fanatic about bathhouses. He loves going to bathhouses. And you know what? I will credit the episode on this point. I like the idea that you gave Akira a passion, something that he absolutely loves, something than more of him being the lone Sixth Ranger, being part of the Shadow Line, or him having a death wish. To give him some actual humanity and passion about something he loves, I will give the episode credit on that. But this particular bathhouse he chooses to go to, turns out the owner is in substantial debt to his creditor. And if they don't drum up enough business, they're going to go ahead and close down the bathhouse. Well, I'm going to let you in on the spoiler at the end here, and then we'll talk about the overall plot and what it actually means. Because turns out, one of the Shadow Line monsters, the Coin Shadow, wants to get a hold of this bathhouse because underneath is a great storage of dark energy that they want to obtain to open up another terminal to the Shadow Line and expand the Shadow Line. Now, why did I tell you this particular information to begin with? It's because this information justifies the ridiculous actions of the ToQger throughout the rest of the episode. Because, see, what the ToQger end up doing, and particularly Akira and Kagara, is that they want to save the bathhouse. So, first of all, Akira wants to attack the guy who is, the creditor, to say, hey, you can't do this, you can't close down this bathhouse, because apparently to Akira, he's taken to such extremes that all bathhouses are sacred. But then the ToQger use their morphing abilities and their status as heroes, it would seem, to promote the bathhouse to get people to go ahead and come. And then when it looks like that things are at their darkest, Akira uses the build dio to actually lift the bathhouse from the earth so he can move it so that the creditor won't be able to find it. Yeah, that was the plan. And the thing is that because the Coin Shadow is the villain, and the bathhouse is on top of this energy of darkness, everything the ToQger do in this episode are justified. They are justified in their actions of moving the bathhouse, using their powers, and all that good stuff here, because it happens to be a plot of the Shadow Line. But think about this for a second. Imagine the Shadow Line was not involved in this, and this was simply a matter of a bathhouse going out of business because the guy couldn't pay his creditor on it. And the creditor, of course, was screwing him over. That's another point, is the Coin Shadow, as the creditor, was doing stupid things to try and, get rid of the business, to make it go quicker. And this is definitely a Scooby-Doo land developer plot, if I've ever heard one. Anyway, if we eliminate the Coin Shadow involvement with this, what does that say about the ToQger exactly? Let's assume that our creditor was not a Coin Shadow, that there's no darkness up there, that Akira just happens to find a bathhouse that he becomes obsessed about, and the ToQger tried to go ahead and drum up business for it. Okay, let's talk about that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them going out with flyers and stuff and, say, hey, come to the bathhouse, come support it, it's going to be torn down. I get that. That makes sense. But the fact that they actually they morph into the ToQger and they use the line change for a public demonstration so that it'll drum up, a spectacle so they can give out flyers and stuff. That to me seems like an abuse of power on the ToQger part. I mean, consider this was Mighty Morphin, and the juice bar was going to go ahead and close down. Do you think that Zordon would be okay with the Rangers morphing into the Power Rangers to save the juice bar? I don't think that would be something that Zordon would go with. And yes, there was Power Ranger Day, but Power Ranger Day is a little bit different, okay? And I think Zordon was kind of okay with that. But I don't think Zordon would have been okay with them using their powers in this type of abuse. And I don't think the ToQger really should be doing that as well. Again, because the coin shadow's involved, they're justifying their actions. But does it really make sense that they would pick a random bathhouse that Akira happens to like, and they befriend the owner, and use their status as heroes to drum up this business? I mean, I'm not saying that's 100% wrong, and since the conductor is not involved in any decisions here, we can't necessarily say if he agrees with it or not. I just don't think it's something that the ToQger really should be doing. You know what they should be doing, however? Oh yes, trying to find their hometown and who they are! Yes, so, again, instead of going on the mission that they've established for themselves, and even the side mission of liberating shadow towns, they decide that they're going to help out this bathhouse for whatever reason. And what's even greater abuse of power is the fact that Akira uses the Bill Dio to lift it from the foundation, to lift the bathhouse from the foundation so that the creditor cannot find it. And what is actually interesting here is that he has it lifted up, and he says, I can't use the Bill Dio right now. Can I borrow your Zord? He risked everybody's life, the town's life, and everyone else's, everybody that's involved here, to move the bathhouse. Let's say this coin shadow was a little bit more powerful than the Zords could handle, and they couldn't use the Bill Dio. What do you think would have happened to Akira, or people, or the other ToQgers would have said, like, we lost this battle on our Zords and there was a considerable loss of life because you couldn't use your robot because you were holding up a bathhouse. Yeah. And again, it's justified in what he did because the villains were involved with this. Again, if this was a normal situation where it was just a creditor, this seems like overkill. I mean, why are the ToQger even getting involved? Why is Akira getting involved? It's not even like this is a bathhouse that he's come to, like, hundreds of times, because he says in the episode this is like the best bathhouse he's ever been to, and that's a line that's delivered when this is the first time you've been there and you've enjoyed it. We also happen to get, I tell you what's interesting right here. So in the episode we get the little comedy scene of Akira trying to tell the rules of a bathhouse and stuff like that, but we're focused all of our attention on what the guys are doing in the bathhouse and not really what the girls are doing. Now, forgive me to say this, but I will concede to the fact that Sentai is typically it's typically aimed at young males. Let's go ahead and put it that way. So I wonder why we're not focused on what the girls are doing in the bathhouse. I just find that odd. For all the times you could actually use this, I guess, cheesecake moment, wherever you want to go ahead and call it, we focus on what the guys are doing as opposed to what the girls are doing. Then again, it's Akira who's the obsessed one, so here we are watching him do funny things because Takachi doesn't know how to be in a bathhouse properly. I don't know. I'm just looking for stuff here because there is no substance to the episode. It really is all fluff. I mean, it's comedy in the bathhouse. It's the weird, the evil developer. It's a plot that really has nothing to do with the episode until the end. I mean, I don't get this episode. I don't know why this episode had to have been made. Oh, and let's also bring up the point that Akira deliberately holds information from the other ToQger as to what's really going on here. Because Akira says that... Okay, so Akira tries to attack the creditor at the beginning, because, hey, this isn't right, you can't close it down, but Kagura has to pull him back, say, you can't attack him, he's human, he's not an enemy, we shouldn't use our powers to fight humans, which is a good point. But it states that Kira knew something was off with him, that he wasn't really human, and he's revealed to be the coin shell at the end. I think that's information that should have been given to us much earlier than in the end of the second act. Why didn't Akira tell anybody, hey, this guy isn't human, or even let the Bathhouse owner know, hey, this guy isn't human, so the contract you have is null and void? Because apparently, if you're not human, you can't have a contract with each other. Despite the 39 years of history that would suggest otherwise, I guess. I mean, I guess if you're an alien in Super Sentai, you can't have contracts with humans. Who knows? I don't know. So, yeah, that's a fun little thing about Akira, that he withholds deliberate information from his comrades. So, yeah, that's fun to know. Now, I tell you, the only other interesting thing in this episode is we continue to get information, I hope, about Right. And what do I hope? Is that it seems odd to me that in every episode, Right is always wearing shirts that have a lot of English written on them. And in addition to that, it looks like that the English has some sort of meaning. In this episode, for at least the third time I can count, he's wearing the Property of Henderson Athletics shirt. Now, I did research on Henderson Athletics, and it could be either a high school in the United States or a university in Alabama. However, since the shirt doesn't go into specifics as far as a mascot, specific color scheme outside of maroon and all that stuff, it's really hard to go ahead and pinpoint down. Also, Wright is wearing a WMU shirt, which I can only imagine stands for Western Michigan University. Now, I couldn't tell the other characters on his shirt, even in high definition, but WMU is a big call letter, and Western Michigan University is really the only thing I was able to pull up of any significance on a Google search. Again, of significance, there were other things on there, but what else? I mean, other than Western Michigan University, what does WMU even stand for most people? So what I'm hoping is that these are subtle clues into Wright's character, because as we've established in previous episodes, he's wearing a lot of English on his shirts, and he likes to eat a lot, and those are two characteristics that lead me into the direction that he is probably American or has spent significant time in America. And I hope that is the case, because I would like to go ahead and see it pay off. But overall, this episode, it just sucks. I mean, why are we getting off from the main plot so much? I mean, at least in the previous episode, we got to learn more about Takachi's character and how he views himself. In this particular episode, all we learn is that Kira likes bathhouses. That's it. Kagura is brought along for the journey, but we don't understand why she is so passionate about what Akira is doing, or passionate about this bathhouse just like he is. Not explained. You had a great opportunity to build these two characters, especially Kagura, since she has done jack squat since the episode where the tomb and all that kind of stuff, where she gets off the train. Again, she's done jack squat since then. Give her a reason. Give her some sort of character development. Do something with her character. But it's a wasted opportunity. So, I don't know what's in store for the next episode. I'm very curious to see what happens. But again, I hope we can go up from here and get back to the plot, because, you know, I am sure by the time they get back to their hometown and their parent asks them, hey guys, what took you so long to go ahead and find us? Oh, nothing really. We just got sidetracked. Well, like what? Well, like that time we had to save a bathhouse. And I'm sure their parents will be very grateful for that. So anyway, that's this episode. It's skippable. I don't think that's anything really further worth talking here. So next time we will be at Station 27. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Have a good evening. And the tavern is now closed.